That's literally what's happening. You know.
Which, speaking of, because I know what you're saying, the whole thing with the Jada thing and like Will Smith and like, I'm honestly tired about like talking about it, reading about it, because I don't know anymore what's real and what's not. Like, I think that something she said, I'll use her own words against her. She said that because she had on the Red Table Talk, they had someone come to talk about narcissism, right? And um, what's it called? I think her mom was like, Jada's mom was like, "Oh, really? Like, what are you gonna like? Blah blah. What are you gonna talk about?" And then I think they were saying like something about narcissistic traits, right? And then she said, she's like, because sometimes I feel like I have those, right? And then Willow, her daughter, Willow Smith, she's like, yeah, like she was like agreeing, like, yeah, you do. And then like, and then Jada was like, but think about it. In the business that they're in, it's only fitting that they have those traits because as an artist in whatever capacity, music, acting, however, right? It's about yourself because you're trying to be famous. Why? Because you want the attention. That's your goal, right? One way or another. So she's like, who doesn't in this industry? The industry feeds and like encourages and supports that because that's what it is at the end of the day. So she was like, I was like, I could see how in their minds it's almost justified, you know? So then now, because she's a woman, her acknowledging or saying stuff like that sometimes tends to rub people the wrong way. When some like a woman's arrogant, men don't like that. Society doesn't like that, right? Like, 'cause they're like, who the fuck does she think she is? Her trying to clear her name and explain her truth rubs people the wrong way. They don't like it. And because she's so vocal about it and like she has a presence, it gains more momentum, right? Whereas Will Smith has acknowledged all the things in his book. Like, just she's the one right now that's writing the book that wrote her like version of stuff, but Will had already written one, and he talked about all these things and he acknowledged the cheating and things that he did and things that he helped, problems that he helped create within the marriage, how his own mentality on what he thought marriage was literally caused these problems that Jade is now having to like, he caused those. It's his fault to an extent, right? Because obviously she's responsible for part of it. But nobody, and it's written in his words. Yet nobody wants to talk about that. All they're making about it is like, why is she talking about this? Like, who cares? Why does she keep bringing it up? And it's like, I'm sure it must be frustrating for everyone to keep trying to tell your truth for you, you know? And that one of the biggest persons is your husband, you know? And that he's got the good guy act down good. Like, as far as like what I mean, like persona of who he is. And I think that's something we talked about. Like, I think that their image that they were trying to uphold of being like a black family with both parents and like, well, balanced children just became too much and they crumbled under their own weight of what they were trying to portray for the world at the end of the day,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, because right, we're just now finding out that they had technically, well, not technically, been divorced, right,
Separated,
or separated.
right?
Since when?
It's like
2016.
yeah, 7 years.
That's
Or
a
something.
long time,
Right.
like for
For a separation, yes.
yeah, yeah, and for us not to know about it. So I mean, it's just all surprising, everything that's coming out. I think that's all it is. It's just shocking, you know. Um,
Well, I think they go too much for the shock value too, where people are like, it's distasteful now.
yeah, but then I kind of want to say that she's doing it because he must have been doing shit this whole time while
No,
she
no,
gave
yeah,
up
yeah.
her career, like, or
I
like
I agree with
put it
that.
on hold for him. And she's probably like, yeah, I did all that for your ass to be out here like making me look stupid, like, so of course you're gonna pay. you
And
know.
and you know the thing that they say men can never take their own medicine. So right now he's like, but it's only hurting herself,
It
unfortunately.
is, but like you said, also in this case, she's telling her truth. You know, there's certain things I'm still questioning that I'm just like, yeah, why? Like some of those things you could have just kept to yourself. Just let it be about you and Will. And that's it. Leave Tupac out of
I know, but I think
it.
I
Just
think
leave him
she
out of
I
it.
think that's where her pettiness comes in, because she's
Yeah.
like, no, I think for sure on that, like, she can be very
Oh,
petty
yeah.
because
Yeah, I
of
know
it,
what you got.
it's like that's a soft spot for him, so it's a
Hmm.
low blow. So it's like, right, you've been disrespecting me this whole time. You made me give up who I was,
Yep.
and this is and like, it's just out of pettiness at this point. Like,
Yep.
you've done all these things and I've kept quiet, and I've let you like continue this image of what people think you are, which is fine. But now, bet this is what I'm gonna do, and you're just gonna have to take it there with the smile, which then the smile is the picture of him smiling, crying, like,
Yep.
and like that's stuck in people's head. But it's
Hmm.
like, because on that show they say it. She's like, I'm gonna get you back, and she said, "You've already got me back. What are you talking about?"
Damn. See?
So like, right, because he's been doing shit. It's just that it, like how you said, oh, it's because he kept his hoes in lines, whereas, you know, this other fool was like, I'm in love with her, and like she's not claiming me, like
She's like, told your
he didn't
ass.
know. But the thing is, because he's like, it's not that I didn't know my place, is that they wouldn't allow me to have my place because he wasn't a side piece. He was her boyfriend,
Damn.
but because again, the public image, they decided to go with, it's okay, you could just be demoted to a side.
Well, and I had to say that unfortunately, like, well, okay, because at the same time, we're believing y'all still together. So how can you say if no other celebrity would want to be with her, right?
Right.
Or like, of course, because they're agreeing to not be seen with anyone to then give off, or pull the trigger to reveal everything there. So think about it. They're like, yeah, we still gotta uphold this image, while still, or not still, but like now
Trying
trying
to.
to have relationships
Right.
outside of marriage.
Which is where the whole Margot Robbie thing, those pictures, that kind of caused,
Mm-hmm.
there's moments that he just had inappropriate, like, I know that they love to, like, in Hollywood, being like, well, it's because it's part of the job, but I think that there is, like, I don't know how
It's
easy
still
it
a
is.
job though, right? Just like a regular job.
Right, but I think their whole thing is like, it's very hard to keep those boundaries because of the job, which I'm like,
Oh,
it can be
well.
done. It's just there's certain things like them taking those pictures. That was for sure crossing a boundary. The way those
Yeah, that
pictures came up,
that wasn't
that,
a scene in the film that we
or even
see.
if they were partying, like there could still be like the drunk pictures that weren't like the way that they
Yep.
were. Like that
Yeah, like
was
who does
that
that?
was like very intimate pictures where it
Yeah.
was like for them. Does that make
That's
sense? That
not regular shit.
right, that's not them like, oh, we're fucked up at a party. That's not what
Yeah.
that
Nope.
was. Like that just got read completely different.
Yeah.
And that was outside of work hours on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
So um now with the whole Jada and Austin Alsina, I'm not trying to say that that relationship, regardless of have whether they're separated or not, was still okay, because that was still her son's best friend.
Yeah.
So that, like, I'm never justifying that. So that I agree with, as in, like, hey, that wasn't okay. There could have been, like how I always say, there's so many fish in the sea. Why do you got to be like in your little pond, like in your little fish bowl? Like that's just too close.
True.
You know what I
True.
mean? Like you could have gone with anybody else. Why your son's friend? Like that's weird.
Right. Because exactly. Because I'm glad you brought that up because I was also gonna say after that, like, but still doesn't give the excuse to then do that.
Right,
Because
right,
I didn't want to make it sound like, oh, like no one else would want her. That's like her age
right,
in the industry,
right,
or some other guy, right?
right, right, right.
So yeah, there was this guy, and like maybe it was like how she said made me feel,
Alive again is what her
yeah,
words were.
exactly, right?
God
Like,
damn. I know Will like feeling that one. Like, damn, I made
you
her feel
know,
dead inside. He really thought he had that Will Smith power like that.
Yeah. Oh, someone said something interesting too. Like it also because unfortunately since Tupac passed, like she never was ever gonna get the chance again to maybe see the possibility of them ever ending up together. You know, but I don't know. That's a reach. I feel like.
No, I think she does feel like that. I think
You think
she,
so?
from like what
Because
I
even though
keep
they were
seeing.
friends, right? Maybe she thought, hey, what would it have been?
Well, they did so because like you've told me they did because that's why they when they tried to kiss and they're like no. But then what if it was just like the timing was wrong?
Right.
Because if she's like still so stuck on like the what if, is that meaning maybe now looking back, her being like older, looking back and being like, hey, so maybe I wasn't in love with him like on like a physical level because I feel like that's where they were having the issues, like that physically there maybe not wasn't that connection.
Yeah.
But because if they're talking about both of them saying they were soulmates, then like to be able to find a connection like that,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure she kept comparing everything to that.
Yeah.
And what's it called? I think that's a regret of hers that maybe she thought like I should have tried again to see if that was gonna go anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because from what she said, and like I know like obviously it's like after maybe we didn't see that going on at the time, but I'm sure there's a lot of resentment, you know, that she was just like right. She maybe looked at it for the bigger picture for the family, but I don't think she was ever that family oriented because her mom had like a drug addiction, right? And her
Oh no.
dad wasn't in the picture, even though I know the mom's there. Like she doesn't look like she was having those problems. Like
Yeah.
her family background isn't good. And same thing with Will's, which is why they're so like adamant to be like we're gonna stay married.
Mm.
That's where it's bad to have that much.
The trauma bonding.
Yeah, and the like one or even to try to be like we're gonna stop this generational like thing
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna stay married, but to the point where it's detrimental to themselves
Yeah.
because they're trying to uphold something that just isn't in them, you
Yeah.
know?
Yep. Yep. So maybe at this point she is just being petty for the sake of the book now. Like,
Right.
because that's what you got to do now, or it's always been like, you know, you got Drake over here like with more subliminal shots. Um, Cardi trying to, say she gonna be single and then she's not. Bongos isn't working. So what's her next move?